Often find themselves frustrated when the Central Appraisal District says their home is worth more than they think it's actually worth. The reason, of course, is that we're taxed on that value. The Appraisal Review Board is an agency that is supposed to be keeping a watchful eye on those decisions. But a lawsuit on the verge of settlement has revealed some startling details about how it operates. Joining us now is David Carter, a reporter with El Paso Inc., who's breaking this major news story this weekend about the Appraisal Review Board. Thank you very much for coming in.
Yeah.
So tell us, David, what were the allegations in the suit, and how is the board resolving it? First, let's answer that first question. What is it all about?
There's a lot of allegations, okay, and the chief one is sort of aimed at the woman Amy Raspopovich, who was the former chairwoman of the ARB. Sort of the allegations were that she pressured members of the ARB to go along with the Central Appraisal District and valuations. They conducted classes that were intended basically to retrain ARB members how to basically go along with the values, is what the allegations were anyway. Right. The members on the ARB, and apparently there were a number of them who sort of rebelled and tried to resist, were punished, for doing that by getting their hours cut, not being able to serve, being kept in the hallways, kind of benched. For while a lot of this stuff went on, and apparently there was a lot of favoritism that was going on there as well. And so, the way this thing has now been resolved, it didn't go to trial. The case was brought by Property Tax Associates and their 13
plaintiffs.
They had 13 property owners, some of them fairly large, in town. And there's no money changing hands. Everybody's walking away, paying their own legal fees and everything else. But Ms. Raspopovich is effectively banished from serving on the ARB again. Her term ended at the end of December. She cannot reapply, and they cannot hire her, and the same thing with the Central Appraisal District. She cannot go to work for them, and they can't hire her. She can't apply, and they can't work. In addition, the 13 property owners, the whole thing was rooted on the fact that because of some sort of manipulation on the schedules and such, that they ended up not being able to appear before the appraisal review boards with their tax agents back in 2013. The values that they had, the property values that they had, on the books stayed there. They ended up paying higher taxes because of it.
Okay.
And now, what is supposed to happen is between now and February 28th, they get to have, sort of in a special session, I think, of the ARB, they get to have their cases reheard.
By another group of people.
Right, by the new ARB. And so there's a few new members, and last night the Central Appraisal District Board, the sort of the one duty that they still have regarding the ARB was the appointment of a new chairman, or selecting one of the members as a chairman, and they did that with someone who was...
And who stepped into that position?
I forget his first name. His last name is Briggs. He's a military retiree. He had served 6 years on the ARB. His last term ended in 2013, so he did have a little time under Ms. Raspopovich. But he basically comes in and says that we're going to do this a little differently. Nobody's going to be pressured. We're going to go on the evidence. And that's how this thing's going to be run from now on. And
there's 13 plaintiffs, some property owners, most of them property owners. What does that mean for the average El Pasoan who doesn't agree with their valuation and the amount of taxes that they're paying?
The question you might have had, and I'm sure that there are some people who have gone before the ARB and come away satisfied. Okay, the thrust of this was, though, that the ARB members were pressured, sort of told that they should go along with the Central Appraisal District to the extent that they can, unless I suppose there's overwhelming evidence, to indicate that the property values are wrong. And this, and the thrust of this, we had several members of the ARB come forward and speak and speak to us, and they suggested that in fact the system was somewhat rigged in favor of the Central Appraisal District. Because there was sort of favoritism on various levels that were shown to supposedly to members of the ARB who sort of complied and, quote, upheld, that was the sort of the order, uphold the values of the Central Appraisal District.
So how are they going to fix it? How are they going to resolve this?
Well, now that it's out, I think that's going to be it, the big deal. I think this was a significant victory, I guess, for the Property Tax Associates, for their clients, and perhaps for a lot of other people as well. Now that this system is sort of been publicized, or being publicized on our edition on Sunday, and other people will pick that up. So the news is kind of out there at this point. Ms. Raspopovich is gone. You know, there is the concern that she, as expressed by the owner of Property Tax Associates, Jorge Sanchez, that she sort of poisoned the well, you know, at both the ARB and the Central Appraisal District, because there was sort of a mutual hiring that goes back and forth. I think mainly from ARB to the Central Appraisal District. They hire people over there. He's wondering if this sort of ethic that she had been teaching is going to stick around after this case, you know, goes by.
Well, hopefully
presumably it won't. And we sort of woke up the judge as well, who Judge Patrick Garcia, who had oversight over this and who received letters and did not act. And perhaps he and the next administrative judge might pay attention when they get these letters sent to them.
Well, thank you to your investigation. Hopefully that won't happen again.
Well, I thank for the people who came forward, actually.
Yes, and everybody who helped out. Thank you so much. We break news stories on ABC7, but we also break stories for the El Paso Inc.
You do. Thank you very much.
So thank you very much for sharing with us.
Yes.
And we'll be right back.